So here I am playing with the white pieces. About to play a London. D4. My opponent plays D5. I get my bishop out. They develop their knight. They attack my pawn. My pawn's undefended. So I defend it with the C pawn, and that kind of restricts the knight's movement. He moves his other knight out. So now I open up my light squared bishop. Complete my pawn pyramid. He moves his bishop out, targeting my queen. I develop my bishop and attack his bishop. He moves his bishop to safety. Now I'm going to continue my development, get ready to castle. He moves his knight in. Don't really know what he's attacking. But anyway, I got another knight that's sitting on the sidelines and I want to get him involved. So I develop my knight and ask him a question. What are you trying to do here with your knight? Now he attacks my bishop. So I got to move my bishop to safety. There's not really any safe squares to move my bishop. I could take, but then he takes back with his knight. Or I could take with my knight, defended by the bishop. And I kind of like that, because I'm wondering, what am I going to do with this knight? Now I opened up my light square bishop for some activity. He takes with his knight. That's fine. I take back with my bishop. He pins my bishop to my pawn. So he's attacking my bishop. It's undefended, but if I move my bishop, he takes an undefended pawn. So I can't really move my bishop, so I got to defend it. I got to find a way to defend both my bishop and my pawn. But just my bishop for right now, because the bishop is in the line of fire. It's called an X-ray attack, so if I move my bishop, he takes the pawn. So I defend the bishop. He attacks it another time, so now he's attacking my bishop twice. My bishop's defended once. So it's in trouble. I gotta move the bishop. If I move the bishop, he's gonna take my pawn on G2. So I prepare for that. I'm preparing that his rook's going to come down to G2, take my free pawn. And I'm going to trap it. I'm going to try to trap it with my bishop. I'm going to trap your rook. With my bishop back to trap the rook in. Now the rook can't move anywhere without being taken. So he puts a little fake attack on my knight. My knight's not really it's defended twice, so it's not really that much of a threat. So I move my knight. I'm trying to figure out, how do I take this rook? I take this rook by threatening with the knight. Now the bishops are staring at each other. He takes my bishop, helps me develop my queen. Now my knight is still staring at his rook. So he takes my bishop. He doesn't want to lose his rook for free. Now I take back with my H pawn. Opening up the file for my rook. Moves his queen out, I think. What is he threatening with this queen? Looks like he's more defending, maybe his pawn on h6. And I want to keep putting pressure on that pawn. So I move my knight to the middle of the board, threaten his queen, threaten his pawn. His pawn's defended twice, it's attacked twice, so I can't really take it yet. But sometimes your opponent will see that they've got a pawn under attack and they'll forget that you're also attacking their queen. He moves his queen to attack my knight. My knight is undefended, so I gotta figure out a way to defend it. I end up moving my queen out to g4. Get the queen into the attack. Defend the knight. Now I got some wild ideas here. If I move my knight, the queens would be staring at each other. So he castles. I want to castle too. But I think I play a more ambitious move and take the pawn with my knight. Opening up a whole can of worms. Queens are now staring at each other. If the bishop takes, I'll take his queen with my queen and double his pawns. If the queen takes, that's a bad move. I'll just take the queen with my rook. If the bishop takes, yeah, we already went over that. I take the queen. Don't forget your plan. Take the queen. It's actually a check, so he pretty much has to take back. Forcing moves are the easiest moves to calculate because you really limit your opponent's options. This is a check. It's the most forcing move. Now he's going to take back and double his pawns. I take the bishop down for free. Now he's trying to distract me with his pawn. A little pawn play. I don't want to take that pawn. It'll ruin my pawn structure. And I want to keep my pawns together. So I'll let him take. Now he's pushing his pawn. He's trying to distract me. My plan is to skewer his rook to his king. But I gotta double up my rooks and make that happen. So I double up my rooks. Now he's gonna try to distract me with some pawn pushes. It's a bad take for me because then he'll take back with his knight, threatening my knight on a2, which would be a check. So I end up going with my plan. It's a skewer. Can't move the rook. Alright, I get distracted right here. I end up taking back with my c-pawn. The reason I took with the c-pawn is I want to keep my passers protected, so I got two passed pawns, and I want to have a nice little pawn chain to help them get towards the finish line and promote. Now, I don't want to take this pawn. I don't want to double my pawns, and I also don't want to let the knight in, so I push. This restricts the knight's movement. Now, I think he makes a big center pawn push, and he's really trying to distract me with this one. Yeah, big center pawn push, big old distraction. I don't want to take, and so I end up taking his rook. Now I could put him in check, but I end up going for his pawns. He takes my D pawn. And instead of taking back with my pawn, I take his pawn on D5, which is a check. So after much deliberation, he moves his king forward, attacking my rook. He's threatening my pawn on D4. Now I take his pawn. Now he's going to move his king in and attack the base of my pawn chain, which is my pawn on E2. He's coming after my E2 pawn. He's going to move in front of my E2 pawn if he can. But I see that the king and the knight are on the same file, so I pin the knight to the king. Now the knight can't move. So he moves his king. Now I had to think, do I want to take his knight? Sacrifice my rook? Try to win with pawns? Yeah. Now I push my G pawn, and when the king goes to chase it, I'm going to start pushing my A pawn and split the king in two like a log. Well, thanks for watching.